Let's look at some potential ways for saving time on grading. Today I'm on the Schoology app on the iPad. I opened the app, signed myself in as a teacher, and this is the course dashboard that I see. I'm going to go into my Schoology training course, and I'm going to go into an assignment that we had done in some of our training that had you answer right into the Schoology page. So it was the If I Were a School Board Member assignment, and so you answered the question right within Schoology. This is what it looks like when you open it up. So the left-hand side says info. So this is what the assignment looked like. And then the submissions, or what people turned in, are over on this side. So I'm going to tap that submissions so that I can see all the people who turned them in. And you guys know that I've been playing around with these particular assignments and giving grades and things like that. So they weren't necessarily real assignments. I'm going to scroll down until I can see all my students here. And I'm going to pick one of my students here to bring it up to give you an example. Now, I chose this one on purpose just because it had 2 revisions in it. So first of all, you're going to see up in the blue area here, this is how if I tap it, I can switch students. So I can go to another student. Notice when I do that, that I can sort the students, I can search for a student, and by sort, it just simply means that I can sort from A to Z or Z to A. Or I can filter by, and I can change the filter for ungraded or those kinds of things. So that's nice to know up there. The other reason I chose this one is that it had been turned in more than one time. So this says revision 2. If I want to see the other revision, I can just tap up there on revision 2 and I can see that one as well. So that's kind of nice to be able to see that at the same time. So this is the student's work, and I can do a couple of things with this. First of all, I can mark it up. So if you see the pen tool here, and if I tap on that, that's going to open up a little different menu bar up on the top that I can use to do some changes on this. Now, also on the iPad, you can take your fingers, your 2 fingers, and you can kind of do either a pinch to make it smaller or draw them apart to make it a little bit larger, because that was pretty small and I might not be able to see it very well on there. So now I've expanded it to make it a little bit larger just using my fingers on the screen. So the tools up on the upper left-hand corner, the first T that you're going to see is the highlighting tool. So if you notice that it's a light blue up here, but I can tap that light blue color and choose different colors for my highlighting, and then I just simply drag across and it's going to highlight that for me on the screen. So if I wanted to maybe highlight some specific things for students, I could do that. The next tool that you're going to see, the next T that has a line through it, is just what it looks like. It's going to cross out. So if I have that one selected and I go and drag across some, it's going to actually put that cross out on there. If I want to leave a little note on here, that next one over that looks like a little comment sign, I'm going to touch it, and then I can touch anywhere on the screen and leave a little note. But here's what's really cool. So if I'm going to touch like down here that I want to leave a little note, and looks the same as any kind of comment, but if I touch again where it says note right here, the keyboard on the iPad comes up, and notice that there's a microphone down here. So I can actually, instead of typing, which can sometimes be difficult on the iPad, I can actually click the microphone. Now this is going to start recording what I am saying, period. This will be much faster than typing, period. So I tapped the little keyboard button on the bottom when I was done so that if I wanted to pause or whatever, and then when I'm done with the whole note, I can just hit the done up here and this note will close. So I'm pretty excited about that as far as it being super, super fast to be able to put notes in for students on this. The next one over is to be able to write on it, and that's that pencil. Again, I can click the dot on here and change the color of the writing that I have on here, so that if I wanted to come over and circle something, I could do that. Or if I actually wanted to write on here, I could as well. So I could physically write on here. Now, another thing to keep in mind that if you want to write a little bit more and there's not a lot of room on here, you can actually, again, make this even larger. And then when you're writing, and when I'm done, I can pinch it back, and it's easier to write when it's much larger on there. So just a little tip on that. Now, obviously, if I do something wrong, I can undo. If I want to see what this looks like without the markings on it, I can click this little eye and it's going to take that off. If I click it again, it's going to put back. I do want to make sure that I click the green check mark to save these. If I just close, it's not going to save it. So I'm going to tap that green check mark up there and it says my annotations have been saved. Now, obviously you can see it's still up here, so I can keep saving on that. But when I'm done, then I can close out of the annotation part of it, which is in the upper left-hand corner. Now I can come back and look at my other choices I have here for grading this. So if I click on the little graph, this is going to allow me to put the actual grade in here. And again, I can leave a grade comment as well if I would like to. Notice that this leave a comment, so if I tap in here, again, I have this microphone, so I could actually dictate the comment. Remember that you're going to want to use the save when you're done. That next button over allows me to see the submission comments, so if the student had added some comments, I could see those on there as well. So when I'm done with grading that one, I could simply go and select another student and have their work come up and I'd be ready to go. Let's take a look at this from the student perspective. Unfortunately, the students actually have to open up the assignment. So I'm in my student one now, my Patty Panther, and if I open up this assignment, and what I need to do is open up that assignment that I turned in. This particular one has 4 different times, but as I open that up as a student, I will then see all of the markings and things like that for this particular assignment that I turned in. So I can see the note, I can see the crossed out. So if you are going to use this with students and you're actually taking the time to grade these like this, then you would want to make sure that students know they should be going in and looking at it and how to go in and do that. So that would take a little bit of teaching on their part. A couple of quick notes. I am using something called a stylus to write to make it a little easier than my finger. If you would like to come down and borrow one from me, you certainly can. I have a couple of them in my office. They aren't great. They're freebies that somebody gave to me. Also, I did test this with an image and a PDF. So if a student submits a picture to you, you can actually do all of those same kinds of editing. And if a student submits a PDF, same thing, you can go in and use those same tools on it. So it doesn't seem to have the exact same capabilities in something like a Google Doc because it actually opens it in the Google Doc app. However, that same keyboard, whenever you want to leave a comment, that same keyboard is going to pop up where you can use your microphone and dictate. So the writing may not be the same, but the dictating would be. So I hope you have the opportunity to give this a try, and maybe it could be a big time saver for you using the iPad app.